Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well. So, I quickly want to talk about swing structure and mainly about how to identify swing structure, what it is, and how to use it in your trading, and also a couple of tips on how to avoid, for example, uh, ranging price like over here, basically. But I'll talk about that in a second. So, swing structure essentially is the outer points of price, is what I like to call it. So, let's say we've got a structure like that. And let me just quickly draw that out. Basically, the swing points are the outer points of price. So those are that low over there and that high over there. They're basically the lowest or the highest point of a bearish or a bullish range. I'm just going to quickly grab an example too, one that's easy to spot preferably. All right, so we just delete that. You can kind of see the highest and the lowest points of this bearish leg over here. I'm talking about that. And the lowest point that I'm seeing is that low, followed by the highest point, which is that high. Then we get another low point. Now, once we get that low point, we don't get any other new lower points than that. So this is our swing low, or our lowest low basically within this bearish range. So anything, basically everything that's in between here is not swing structure. This is a so-called internal structure. Now, I don't like to overcomplicate it by calling things internal structure too much, but basically the outer points of price, what you're seeing here, here, and here, this is the swing leg that we're playing within. Now, eventually, we don't create a new swing low. We don't get that break to the downside, but we do get that break to the upside. So we do take out that swing high. So now we're going to be looking, after that happens, now we're going to be looking at a new leg, basically, a bullish leg in this case. So we're going to be marking the outer points of what we're seeing. So once this gets taken, we're going to be looking at the most extreme points within this bullish leg. So what I'm seeing is that this is your highest high at this point, and this is your lowest low. Once we break that piece of structure, we can start looking at new swing structure. So every time we break swing structure, we're going to be looking at new swing structure. So let me just give you a couple of examples, and let me also show you what is not swing structure. So there's a couple of tips I like to mention too, because I do get a lot of questions about not being sure about whether or not something is swing structure. If you're uncertain, stay out. If you don't know if it's swing structure or not, stay out. The whole point of, especially when you're in your testing phase, is basically to study and to test. So in this case, if it's really hard to identify swing structure, rather than trying to force it, rather than trying to force, for example, a short trade right here and overanalyze it, just stay out and wait until you see something that's really obvious and clear to see. And let me just pull something up. This is what I do when I'm analyzing my charts too. I literally just go over them like that. And if there's nothing to see, I just skip it. I'm not going to try and force it. But basically, it should be really simple to see swing structure. Now, there's also more examples. I mean, you could go all the way over the top and be like, well, swing structure, that's that high right there, and then that low, and then that high right there, and then that low. But obviously, that's very, very zoomed out. So we're going to be looking more at recent structure, because the more recent structure is ultimately what's the most important. So in this case, it's a little hard to see. Or I guess you could say like this is your high, your low, your high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Taking out that structure, this is now your higher low, your higher high, excuse me, your higher low, higher high, right? But is that string structure or is that internal structure? So to me, this would be considered internal structure. Swing structure is really the outer points of price. So that would be that right there and this right here. I'm just going to go over a couple more examples. Let me see if I can find some. Um, I want to make sure that they're quite easy to see too. Right. So in this case, you can kind of clearly see the swing structure. So what is not swing structure, for example, is that right there. You want to be looking at the outer points of price. So this is your low, this is your high, this is your lower low. Why is that? Because we take our structure there, and this becomes your new lower high, lower low, lower high. Well, this is a little tricky to see because there's a bunch of wicks, so it's a little hard to see what we're going to identify as a low. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stay out until I see something that's a little easier to see. So this is a lot more easier to spot. So this becomes my new lower low, my lower high, and eventually just keeps going on like that. This is a little short video on how to identify swing structure. It's not too complicated. The only thing is that you'll just have to basically get used to it. The issue is that a lot of people will overanalyze it. If you can't spot swing structure within a couple of minutes or even a couple of seconds, basically, that means it's either not there or you're trying to force it. And I think one of the biggest issues in trading is people trying to force setups and trades that aren't there. So it's a little short tutorial on swing structure. If you want any other help with it, just DM me on Discord. My name is @SvenFX, or on Instagram, which is at. There you go. So if you guys want any other help with it, just let me know. I'm gonna be making a proper video about it soon, but I got a couple of questions about it, and I figured I'd just make a little quick tutorial on swing structure. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. And like I said, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me or leave it in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.